The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. The Tale of Sir Thopas. The Prologue. When said was this miracle every man, as sober was that wonder was to see, till that our host to Japan he began, and then at erst he looked upon me, and saith thus, What man art thou? Thou lookest as thou wouldst find an hare, for ever on the ground I see thee stare. Approach near, and look up merrily. Now ware you, sirs, and let this man have place. He in the waist is shapen as well as I. This were a puppet in an armed embrace. For any woman small and fair of face, he seemeth elvish by his countenance, for unto no wight doth he dalliance. Say now somewhat, since other folk have said, tell us a tale of mirth, and that anon. Host, quoth I, be not evil apaid, for other tale certes can I none. Out of a rhyme I learned yore agone. Yea, that is good, quoth he. Now shall we hear some dainty thing, methinketh, by thy cheer? The tale, the first fit. Listen, lordings, in good intent, and I will tell you veriment of mirth and of solace. All of a knight was fair and gent, in battle and in tournament. His name was Sir Thopas. He born he was in far country, in Flanders all beyond the sea, at Popering in the place. His father was a man full free, and lord he was of that country, as it was God's grace. Sir Thopas was a doughty swain, white was his face as pandamain, his lips red as rose. His road is like scarlet in grain, and I tell you in good certain, he had a seemly nose. His hair, his beard was like saffroon, that to his girdle reached a doon, his shoes of cordowane. Of Bruges were his hosen brown, his robe was of Sillertown, that cost a many a Jane. He could hunt at the wild deer, and ride on hawking for revere, with grey goshawk on hand. Thereto he was a good archer, of wrestling was there none his peer, where any ram should stand. Full many a maiden bright in bower, they mourned for him paramour, when there were better sleep. But he was chaste and no lecher, and sweet as is the bramble flower that beareth the red heap. And so it fell upon a day, forsooth as I tell may, Sir Thopas would outride. He worth upon his steed grey, and in his hand a lance gay, a long sword by his side. He pricked through a fair forest, wherein is many a wild beast, yea, both buck and hare. And as he pricked north and east, I tell it you, him had almost betide a sorry care. There sprang herbs great and small, the licorice and the setterwall, and many a clove gilofre, and nutmeg to put in ale, whether it be moist or stale, or for to lay in coffer. The bird sang, it is no jay, that spare her can the popinjay, that joy it was to hear. The throstle cock made eke his lay, the wood dove upon the spray, she sang full loud and clear. Sir Thopas fell in love longing, all when he heard the throstle sing, and pricked as he were wood. His fair steed in his pricking so sweated that men might him bring, his sides were all blood. Sir Thopas eke so wary was, for pricking on the softer grass, so fierce was his courage, that down he laid him in that place, to make his steed some solace, and give him good forage. Ah, Saint Mary, Benedicti, what aileth thilke love at me, to bind me so sore? Me dreamed all this night, pardie, an elf queen shall my leman be, and sleep under my gore. An elf queen will I love, I wis, for in this world no woman is worthy to be my make in town. All other women I forsake, and to an elf queen I me take, by dale and eke by down. Into his saddle he clomb anon, and pricked over stile and stone, an elf queen for me to spy, till he so long had ridden and gone, that he found in a privy one that country of Faery. so wild. For in that country was there none that to him durst ride or gone, neither wife nor child. Till that there came a great giant, whose name was the Oliphant, a perilous man of deed. He said, Child, by Termagant, but if thou pricketh out mine haunt, anon I slay thy steed with mace. Here is the Queen of Faery, with harp and pipe and symphony, dwelling in this place. The child said, Also may I, that tomorrow will I meet thee, when I have mine armour. And yet I hope, par mes fay, that thou shalt with this lance gay, abayen it full sore, thy maw shall I pierce if I may, ere it be fully prime of day, for here thou shalt be slaw. Sir Thopas drew back full fast, this giant at him stones cast, out of a Falstaff sling, but fair escaped child Thopas, and all it was through God's grace, and through his fair bearing. Yet listen, lordings, to my tale, merrier than the nightingale, for now I will you round how Sir Thopas with cider smale, pricking over hill and dale, is come again to town. His merry men commanded he to make him both game and glee, for needest must he fight with the giant with headers three, for paramour and jollity of one that shone full bright. Do come, he said, my minstrels, and guitar for to tell a tales, anon in mine arming, of romances that be royals, of popes and of cardinals, and eke of love longing. They fetched him first the sweet wine, and mead eke in a masseline, and royal spicery, of gingerbread that was full fine, and licorice and eke cumine, with sugar that is tree. He did next his white layer, of cloth and of lake fine and clear, a breech and eke a shirt, and next his shirt and hacketon, and over that an habergeon for piercing of his heart, and over that a fine hauberk was all he wrought of Jew's work, full strong it was of plate, and over that his coat armour, as white as is the lily flower, in which he would debate. His shield was all of gold so red, and therein was a boar's head, a carbuncle beside. And there he swore on ale and bread, how that giant should be dead, betide what so betide. His jambo were of curberly, his sword a sheath of ivory, his helm of latoon bright, his saddle was of rule bone, his bridle as the sun shone, or as the moonlight. His spear was a fine cypress, that bodeth war and nothing peace, the head full sharp y ground. His steed was all a dapple grey, it went an amble in the way, full softly and round in land. Lo, lordes mine, here is a fit, if ye will any more of it, to tell it I will fand. The second fit. Now hold your mouth for charity, both knight and lady free, and hearken to my spell, of battle and of chivalry, of ladies' love and druery, anon I will you tell. Men speak of romances of price, of horn child and of appetice, of Bevis and Sir Guy, of Sir Libeau and plain Demour, but Sir Thopas he bears the flower of royal chivalry. His good steed he all bestrode, and forth upon his way he glode, as sparkle out of brand. Upon his crest he bare a tower, and therein stick a lily flower, God shield his course from shand. And for he was a knight and trous, he would sleepen in none house, but liggen in his hood. His brighter helm was his wanger, and by him baited his destre, of herbs fine and good. Himself drank water of the well, as did the knight Sir Percivale, so worthy under weed, till on a day. End of the tale of Sir Thopas.